Thank you very much. May I kindly have your attention? We are beginning now. We want to thank you for joining us today. The Honorable Minister of ICT and Innovation, welcome very much. Honorable African Union Commissioner, Dr. 𝗔𝗔𝗥𝗦𝗘, welcome. The Global Ocean Observing System for Africa, Professor 𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗏, welcome very much. The CEO of Rwanda Space Agency, the Chief Registrar of Land Titles and Director General of National Land, Professor 𝗖𝗁𝗁𝗏𝗏𝗏 from the International Society for Photogrammetry and Remote Sensing, the Chancellor for INES-Ruhengeri, Director of the International GWEX, Dr. 𝗜ＰETROS-van Ovelen, Head of International Organizations and our partners, sponsors, Vice Chancellor INES-Ruhengeri, Deputy Vice Chancellor INES-Ruhengeri, distinguished delegates, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. My name is Gerald Yegon. I'm the country manager for Eastern Africa in Kenya office. Welcome to this event, and just to give you a small context, this is the 28th year of this event happening. This should have happened in 2020, but unfortunately COVID happened. But we are here as think tanks, as people who are here as a community of practice to come and share and exchange knowledge on how we can solve that and many other problems that are facing the world today through Earth observation. And I'd just like to share a word of wisdom by one woman who says, a map is a pattern made understandable, and understanding precedes action. That alone brings us all together here, regardless of your background, regardless of your discipline or scientific expertise. So,
Honorable Minister of ICT and Innovation, Honorable Dr. 𝗔𝗔𝗥𝗦𝗘, the African Union Commissioner, and Chairman of GMS Africa, Chief Executive Officer of Rwanda Space Agency, Chief Registrar of Land Titles and Director General of National Land Authority, heads of international organizations and our partners, the Vice Chancellor of INES-Ruhengeri, Deputy Vice Chancellors, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's a great pleasure to be standing here for the official opening of the 13th African Association of Remote Sensing and Environment Conference 2022. This is the first AARSE conference since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. It was in October 2018 when the Executive Council of the AARSE announced that INES-Ruhengeri will be the organizer and the host of the next conference, which was due to in October 2020. However, the outbreak of the pandemic necessitated the postponement of the conference to date. So the conference under the theme Space and Geospatial Technologies for the Africa we want is one of the major events in Africa and international community in the sector of observation and geospatial information science. So when you look at the current global goals or sustainable development goals, 11 of these goals will require the use of remote sensing and Earth observations for better planning to implement them. So for 5 days, we'll be together here. We expect to benefit through knowledge and skill sharing, dissemination of research findings, where we invite you to join parallel sessions, networking between academic and practicing remote sensing families, and we do invite you to visit our exhibition stands where different companies exhibit what they do in this sector. So the journey leading to the preparation of this conference has not been a smooth one. There were a lot of challenges, but all were made possible by the support we received from different organs. Allow me to express my gratitude and appreciation to some of them. My first appreciation goes to our government, the government of Rwanda. We've been supported by different government institutions since day one. My appreciation also goes to the management of my institution, INES-Ruhengeri, who has worked tirelessly and even contributed financially to make sure that all the preparatory activities go smoothly. Our partners, Rwanda Space Agency, thank you for your flexibility. Honorable CEO of Rwanda Space Agency, you have a wonderful team. Allow me to mention a few among them. Like persons like Joseph Abakunda, Dr. 𝗖𝗁𝗲𝗿𝗲𝗦𝗃, Ms. Grace Mutavu, and all the team from Rwanda Space Agency. They have been so wonderful and helpful in this journey. To our sponsors, from gold sponsors, bronze, allow me to mention some of them, or all of them. The African Union Commission and GMS Africa, thank you for your support. Regional Center for Mapping of Resources for Development, AARSE, and allow me also to recognize the presence of the Director General of AARSE, Dr. Nkurunziza Emmanuel here. Our sponsor, also the Airbus, the European Space Agency, and Digital Earth Africa. Thank you for all your support. Thank you also. My thanks also goes to the support rendered to us because without all your support through sponsorship, it would have been inevitable to all of us and all of the people here to be sitting in this beautiful environment. I cannot conclude this short welcome note without recognizing my team, the organizing committee from INES-Ruhengeri. This conference, although it was organized and hosted by INES-Ruhengeri, we did receive a lot of support from AARSE Secretariat. Also allow me to recognize some of them, executive members here present. Among them, Professor Kamal Labbassi, the President of AARSE, Professor 𝗖𝗁𝗲𝗿𝗲𝗦𝗃, and Professor 𝗖𝗁𝗲𝗿𝗃𝗦𝗃. For all along, we have been together in this journey. Thank you for the work done. My appreciation also goes to all the INES-Ruhengeri technical team for spectacular job done. Although each member of the committee did a tremendous job, few needs my recognition, and among them are Dr. 𝗜𝗁𝗲𝗿𝗃𝗦𝗃, Mr. Jeremy Muvunyi, Ms. Adelaide Mutesiwabo, and Mr. Claude, who was our IT gentleman. Thank you, thank you, thank you all.
Gentlemen, ladies, it is my distinguished pleasure to welcome Professor Kamal Labbassi, the President of AARSE. Welcome.
Thank you, merci. Madame la Ministre of the ICT Innovation of the Republic of the Rwanda, Monseigneur Chancellor of the INES-Ruhengeri, the Chief Executive Officer of the Rwanda Space Agency, Colonel Gabo Francis, Lady, the dear ISPRS representative, lady and gentlemen, all protocol respected. This word of welcome, which traditionally fall to the President of the African Association of Remote Sensing of the Environment, AARSE, to pronounce, gave me the honors and the privilege of addressing eminent personality from the world of the geoinformation, from the industrial and commercial world, but also to the political and administrative decision makers to wish them a cordial, warm welcome on behalf of the local organization committee. On the behalf of the Executive Council of AARSE and the International Organization Committee, I want to thank everyone who has contributed to the success of the 13th International Conference of AARSE in Kigali, Rwanda, from 24 to 28 October 2022. The primary aim of AARSE is to increase the awareness of the African government and their institutions, the private sector, and the society at large about the empowering and enhancement benefit of developing, applying, utilization responsibly the product and services of Earth observation systems and geoinformation service technology. To achieve its objective, AARSE conducts a biennial international conference across Africa on various relevant topics on Earth observation and geospatial information sciences, apart from other awarenesses and capacity building activity. Up to year of 2018, AARSE has organized 12 of such conferences from 1996. This year's conference is the 13th of the series and it's hosted by the Institut d'enseignement supérieur INES-Ruhengeri in partnership with the Rwanda Space Agency in the beautiful city of Kigali. The conference usually takes place in the last week of October of every even-numbered years. This edition coincides with the 30th anniversary of AARSE, founded in 1992 during an international conference organized by the United Nations in Boulder, Colorado, in USA. I would like here to tribute to the pioneer of the AARSE first officer, Professor Peter Adeniyi from Nigeria, Mr. Asfaw Fanta from Kenya, Professor Mohammed Irey from Egypt, Mr. Mamadou Fofana from Côte d'Ivoire, and Dr. 𝗖𝗁𝗲𝗿𝗲 from the Netherlands. Each biennial conference of AARSE brings together a lot of scientists, practitioners, vendors of products and government officials from various countries across the globe with the objective of promoting and advancement of knowledge, research, development, education and training in space sciences and technology, including photogrammetry, remote sensing and technology, and geospatial information sciences, and their application in sustainable development. The week-long conference will feature plenary and technical sessions consisting of oral and interactive paper presentation, parallel side event, pre- and post-conference workshop, scientific and commercial exhibition and services, and latest equipment, social event, and of course, the AARSE General Assembly. Like the previous edition, the conference therefore provides an opportunity for participants to learn about the new development in above mentioned discipline and to share experience with others. AARSE has been playing and will continue to play key role in all regional and institutional programs and initiatives, within its scientific field of operations such as the European and African GMS and Africa Programme, the EU-Africa Initiative launched by the European Space Agency, just to mention a few, and of course, willing to play a role and assume responsibility for the planet action in the future, such as the African Space Agency. The theme of this conference is the space and geospatial technology for the Africa we want, is very German in the face of the current African environmental, security, and developmental challenge, which required ready availability of fit-of-purpose, affordable, and up-to-date geospatial information. Faced with this challenge, it is up to geoinformation practitioners to influence policy through innovative ideas that will produce concrete and tangible products and services in order to solve the many problems facing the continent. As in the previous edition of AARSE conference, the resolution and recommendation made at the end of this conference will be purposefully disseminated to all the key regional and national organizations and government for the implementation. On behalf of the Executive Council and Board of Trustees of AARSE, I would like to thank all members of the local organization committee, especially my friend and colleague, Professor POTEL Jossam, the LOC coordinator, as well as all our sponsors, the gold sponsors, the GMS and Africa of the African Union Commission, the silver sponsors, the RCMRD and Airbus, the bronze sponsors, the European Space Agency, the Digital Health of Africa, and Top 5 SAIL for making this conference a great success. The notable partnership of IEEE GRSS with the AARSE that provided travel for qualified African scientists and students to attend the conference, provides financial support for participants at this conference. This would really put GRSS in the fold of silver sponsors of this conference. They deserve great commendation. Wishing all of the participants fruitful deliberation and success at this meeting. Please rest assured of the continued commitment of support of AARSE toward achieving a rapid uptake of Earth observation and geoinformation sciences in our continent, Africa. Thank you very much for your attention.
Our next presentation and speech is from Professor Habil Christian from the International Society for Photogrammetry and Remote Sensing. And as he comes, welcome, Christian. We are going to be having entertainment at the next, as we break off, just to ensure that we are, we are enjoying and having a good time. Thank you so much. Welcome.
Honorable dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, on behalf of ISPRS, the International Society for Photogrammetry and Remote Sensing, and its president, Lena Halunova, from the Technical University in Prague, let me convey best greetings to you at this special moment of the opening ceremony of the 13th AARSE conference. It's a particular honor to be able to address you at this moment. My name is 𝗔𝗔𝗥𝗦𝗘. I'm the past president, and as Lena was not able to join, she has asked me to fill in, and I'll do my best. IGISUBIZO, the premier international non-governmental organization in our field, that is the field of photogrammetry, remote sensing, and geospatial information, stands on 3 pillars: science as a foundation, collaboration with all stakeholders in the field, and then, of course, capacity building and global education. A number of national societies and organizations in your continent are members of ISPRS, and of course, AARSE is a long-standing regional member of our society. And we have connections from the very beginning, from the foundation of AARSE. So, nearly 30 years by now. Your leaders in AARSE have been and currently are regional representatives for Africa, or have been heavily involved in our activities. That is, of course, true for the founder, one of the founders, 𝗖𝗄𝗿𝗍𝗍, whose name was already mentioned. That is true for 𝗔𝗔𝗥𝗦𝗘, past president of AARSE. That is true for Hussein Farah, former director of the Regional Center for Mapping of Resources and Development in Nairobi. And currently, of course, for Andre Nondyama from the United Nations ECA, Economic Commission for Africa. So there is strong links, and there has been outcomes. I only mentioned recent common activities. The summer school in Botswana back in 2018, together with the ISPRS Student Consortium. Capacity building and open source workshops in Dar es Salaam, also in 1918. And a summer school on radar remote sensing in Kampala, which was actually a direct result of a connection at the last AARSE meeting in Alexandria. Why then is space and geospatial important? And why is it important for Africa? Well, I guess all of us have been reminded in the last couple of years that peace, freedom, and freedom of travel is not a commodity. Predictions and planning have only limited values in times of turmoil, in times of pandemic, in times of unprecedented activities. But nevertheless, these are imperative to create a better world. That is where the power of cooperation comes in. That is where the Sustainable Development Goals proclaimed by the United Nations come in, may it be for public, private, academic organizations, or the citizens themselves. In the end, we all serve humanity, and it is our generation, being on the steering wheel right now, who is responsible to leave this world a living one for the generations to come. And that is where geospatial comes in. That is where geospatial and remote sensing play a major role. In the preparation for this meeting, I came across a brilliant survey paper written by 𝗖𝗄𝗿𝗍𝗍, where he very clearly sets out the state of Earth observation and geoinformation sciences in Africa, published only 2 years ago. And he demonstrates and explains that there has been lots of progress in the last 20 or so years in the public sector, in academia, in space agencies, and I'd mention here that includes, of course, Rwanda, who has launched satellites for a number of years already, and in the private sector. 𝗖𝗄𝗍𝗍 also encourages the impact of pan-continental societies, such as AARSE. And I'm happy to note that ISPRS is mentioned in that paper as well. The challenges, according to this paper, are in education, move young talents to the universities, provide free access to African-owned satellite data, and share those among different institutions and among different countries. Those are the tasks, and ISPRS is willing to support such developments in whatever way we can. What we do is convene international meetings. I'll give a few examples here. The first ISPRS Geospatial Week in Africa is scheduled to happen next September in Cairo. Even before that, there is an international meeting on remote sensing for the environment happening in Turkey, in Antalya, in April next year. And then there's, of course, in the longer range, other meetings, the ISPRS Symposia and the Congress in 2026 in Canada. For these meetings, and also for meetings such as the AARSE conference, ISPRS provides travel grants to attend such meeting. Furthermore, there is seed money for capacity building and scientific initiatives. There is support for open access publications. And perhaps most importantly, there is the idea of this global network of experts, professionals, and students in photogrammetry, remote sensing, and GIS. More, of course, on our website, isprs.org. I encourage you to engage in ISPRS at national level and at international level. I wish you good success and interesting conversations during this conference, and I very much thank you for having been able to address you and for your attention. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor. Just to also mention, we have nationalities here with us of more than 40 nations. We have confirmed attendance by more than 400 people. So this is indeed a very diverse group of intellectuals. So thank you very much once again. And also just to mention, as we have the next speech by Dr. Tidiane, I just want to appreciate the role that the Africa Union is doing in the nation and across the region in terms of coordinating and ensuring that Africa takes its stage in outer space affairs, as well as also downstream uptake of geospatial technologies in decision making. Welcome. Thank you so much.
Her Excellency, Madam Minister of ICT of the Republic of Rwanda, Professeur Kamal Labbassi, le président de AARSE, cher évêque, notre père, Mr. President of ISPRS, mentors, pioneers of Earth observation and space in Africa. I'm talking about Professor Walda here in the room, Professor Jide, Professor Afian, and so on. Colleagues from Europe and the European Commission. I'm talking about Peter Zell, Benjamin Coates, and others, always with Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. Your Excellency, allow me to convey the warm felicitations and thank to the government of the Republic of Rwanda for not only supporting this event, but for the legendary hospitality. We've been very well received and we are enjoying the moment. Your Excellency, allow me to congratulate you personally for not only your support to our community, but for your leadership. For your information, Her Excellency is the chair of the board of Digital Earth Africa. And Excellency, years ago you were here with us for Africa GIS. Today you are also here with us. What a commitment, what an engagement. Thank you very much. The interpreters, sorry to shock you, but I have to alternate. Nous sommes ici aujourd'hui pour célébrer la communauté spatiale et plus particulièrement l'observation de la Terre. Il est clair pour nous que les événements de ce genre sont comme une kermesse, une célébration de ce que nous avons accompli, mais également comme une réflexion vers l'idéal. Cela veut dire un nouveau cahier de route, cela veut dire une nouvelle feuille de route, cela veut dire de nouvelles résolutions, de nouveaux objectifs, mais également dans le temps et dans l'espace. L'espace est une nécessité. Notre intervention ne démontrera pas ce que l'espace peut faire. Cela a été démontré depuis bientôt 30 ans, je dirais même 50 ans. Il est question pour nous de mettre les épaules à la charrue pour des actions concrètes. We are here today, we African Union Commission, in supporting AARSE conference. It is clearly aligned with the spirit and the philosophy of the African Union Commission, which is really the integrated, prosperous, and peaceful Africa. We are here because we have a duty to support all Africans together, applying science and technology for our department, applying science and technology for the sustainable development of Africa. We are also supporting AARSE conference as we've supported Africa GIS, as we are supporting Digital Earth Africa, as we are supporting even the private sector. For your information, next year, in April, we'll have the New Space Conference in Côte d'Ivoire, in Abidjan. This is led purely by a private sector, but African Union Commission will stand as we are doing for other organizations. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to short my speech because I will have opportunity in the session 1 to go through what we have done so far and where we are heading. The African Space Agency is one of the key achievements of the implementation of the African Space Policy and Strategy. As you know, the African Space Agency will be hosted by Egypt, and in December will be there the Professor 𝗜ጵ𝘁𝗲𝗿, the Commissioner of Science and Technology, who will be leading the delegation to finalize and start the operationalization of the African Space Agency. You experts, be ready for the recruitment. There are plenty of opportunities, and you have to stand and to realize the dream of Africa in terms of space. This week, we are not only supporting AARSE conference, we are translating the necessity, the need of creating critical mass for the African space agenda. We are organizing several side events. This is why you will have a meeting of women in GMS. You will have academia, you will have entrepreneurship, so on, academia, etc. We are ready. We know the work is hard. We know the work is not easy, but together we should be there. Allow me to conclude my intervention with respect to GMS in Africa, which is an implementation leg of the Earth observation segment of the African space policy and strategy. Thanks to GMS, and it is an opportunity for the African Union Commission to thank and to underline the support from the European Union through the European Commission, the support from the European Space Agency, from EUMETSAT, from the Joint Research Center in Italy. They've been there with us for years. The GMS Phase 1 started in 2017 or 16, I would say December, ended last year, and the second phase has started. GMS in Africa, it is about more than 120 African institutions involved and working together through consortium. GMS in Africa, it is more than 5,000 Africans trained. GMS in Africa, it is about involving private sector, academia, and public sector working together. I used to say in the space arena as well as in all science and technology arena, the innovation is not possible without academia and the private sector. The public sector develop the policy, develop the programs, mobilize the resources, follow and monitor the execution, but the execution is done by the academia and the private sector. Academia through research and development and the training of the skills, and the private sector bringing the findings from the research and development on the market, innovating it and offering the services. This is the only way to move forward. Let's work together, and the African Union Commission on this matter will stand and support all initiatives. Let's work together. Let's look at the same direction. The field is huge, but we cannot afford it alone. We have to work together. Once again, Your Excellency, allow me to thank all my pioneers here and mentors, because today we have a big conference of AARSE. It didn't start like that. There are those who put the puzzle together. There are those who initiated it. We are just accompanying them, but our work benefits from their advice, from their support. They are behind the scene, but there are those who really are driving this car of Earth observation. Thank you to all of us, and on behalf of African Union Commission, we wish all of us a nice day and, I will say, fruitful conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. So for those of you who may not know, I think Rwanda is one of Africa's finest tourism destinations. I encourage you to ensure you set aside time to sample the hospitality that Rwanda has to offer. And also in appreciation of the cultural diversity of Rwanda, we've prepared for you a dance by the team here. I hope you enjoy. I think Rwanda is known for very good drum beating and very vigorous dances. Thank you so much and enjoy.
Mwiriwe neza Ruhimbanwa-bugabo iyo ngoma icomyiza mu gitaramo wamukundiye guhigaye ubucuti bwe n'intwari bwacudihitse ku bugabo mwiriwe neza Rugina baririmba n'indekwe mwiriwe neza Ruhimbanwa-bugabo ngaya aho ngaya none mama ndarewe cyuri nyana we yewe zanyina ziratashe mama ndawe inyangezi dore inyangezi bushiro yewe nyangezi murezi twibyinire ngo yewe mama rero yewe twibyinire yewe n'igisubizo yewe kirwahondo nyangezi.
Yes. So I'm requesting us to kindly stand up for 30 seconds. We just stretch. We break the monotony before we receive the guest of honor. Yeah. For those who watch football, you know Rwanda is one of the sponsors for Arsenal. I'm not a fan, but you know, and you will see it on the badge, yeah, of Visit Rwanda. So I think now you have a reason, or at least an excuse. Yeah. Thank you so much. Now we can at least get seated, and then we will have the bishop to come and make his remarks.
Honorable ministre des technologies de l'information et de la communication et de l'innovation du Rwanda, distingués invités, chers organisateurs, mesdames et messieurs, participants à cette conférence, au nom de l'INES-Ruhengeri, Institut supérieur des sciences appliquées, et à mon nom propre, je voudrais commencer par adresser à vous tous ici présents mes chaleureuses salutations. Plus particulièrement à tous nos distingués invités, bienvenue à Kigali, capitale du Rwanda, notre beau pays des 1000 collines au cœur de l'Afrique. Je voudrais à cette occasion exprimer ma profonde gratitude au cadre de AARSE pour avoir choisi le Rwanda et confié à l'INES-Ruhengeri le soin d'organiser cette 13e conférence internationale sous le thème « Les technologies spatiales et géospatiales pour l'Afrique que nous voulons ». Cette conférence internationale de haut niveau et pour l'Afrique et le Rwanda en général, et pour l'INES-Ruhengeri en particulier, une grande opportunité dans le domaine de la recherche des solutions aux problèmes qui s'opposent dans le domaine de l'environnement. Comme le fait remarquer le pape François dans son encyclique Laudato Si sur l'environnement, la Terre, notre maison commune, est menacée par la pollution et les changements climatiques qui ont des conséquences néfastes sur la vie de l'homme. Le changement climatique est un problème global aux graves répercussions environnementales, sociales, économiques, distributives ainsi que politiques, et constitue l'un des principaux défis actuels pour l'humanité. Les pires conséquences retomberont probablement au cours des prochaines décennies sur les pays en développement. Le pape François le dit dans cette encyclique Laudato Si, paragraphe 25. La télédétection et les technologies spatiales sont plus que jamais nécessaires en cette période où le monde actuel fait face aux problèmes liés au changement climatique qui n'épargnent pas notre continent, l'Afrique, notre maison commune. Nous devons promouvoir en Afrique un dialogue sur l'utilisation de l'espace pour le développement, le renforcement de nos potentialités en sciences et en technologie. La promotion de la coordination continentale des activités spatiales est essentielle et urgente pour le développement durable et la croissance économique en Afrique. Cette conférence intervient au bon moment où le monde est confronté à un certain nombre de défis qui doivent être relevés grâce à la télédétection. En guise d'exemple, actuellement, environ un tiers de la population africaine vit dans des centres urbains. Avec un taux d'urbanisation annuel d'environ de 30%, le continent africain pourrait atteindre la barre de 50% de la population humaine d'ici 2030. L'urbanisation, comme vous le savez, s'accompagne de problèmes graves tels que le déchiffrement des forêts et la conversion de bonnes terres agricoles en terres résidentielles. Les demandes accrues d'énergie et d'autres commodités provoquent la pollution de l'environnement. En utilisant la télédétection, nous devons trouver des moyens pour bien développer des villes où l'emplacement des résidences, des industries, des terres agricoles partirait d'une bonne connaissance géospatiale basée sur la recherche scientifique. Nous avons besoin de moyens plus efficaces pour faire face aux problèmes causés par les changements climatiques et parvenir ainsi à la protection de l'environnement, arriver à l'intégrité de nos forêts et des écosystèmes. En parcourant la liste des participants, honorables ministres, nous nous rendons compte que cette conférence réunit un grand nombre de scientifiques, de praticiens, de fournisseurs de solutions géospatiales et des responsables gouvernementaux de divers pays d'Afrique et du monde entier dans le but de promouvoir le progrès des connaissances, la recherche, le développement, l'éducation et la formation dans la science spatiale et la technologie géospatiale, y compris la photogrammétrie. La télédétection et les sciences de l'information géospatiale et leurs applications. Cela nous permet d'espérer que cette conférence de Kigali nous aidera à aller de l'avant dans le domaine des technologies spatiales et géospatiales en Afrique. Au début de ces présentes assises, je vous souhaite de fructueux échanges et plein succès à cette 13e conférence de l'AARSE. Merci pour votre aimable attention. Thank you. Murakoze cyane. Et que Dieu vous bénisse. God bless you. Comme il m'a été demandé, je voudrais inviter l'honorable ministre des Technologies de l'Information, de la Communication et de l'Innovation du Rwanda à venir prendre la parole pour ouvrir officiellement cette conférence internationale. Honorable ministre, à vous la parole. Welcome, murakaza neza.
Good morning. Since we are a bilingual country, I'll use English so you go away with both languages, at least for 40 countries that are represented here. The Honorable AU Commissioner Dr. 𝗔𝗔𝗥𝗦𝗘, Professor Kamal Labbassi, the President of AARSE, the Professor Afian from the Global Ocean Observing System for Africa, the CEO of the Rwanda Space Agency, Director General of the National Land Authority, the Chancellor of INES-Ruhengeri, the Director of International 𝗔𝗔𝗥𝗦𝗘, Dr. Petros, heads of international organizations, our partners, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen from all the 40 countries, good morning once again. Let me begin by extending a warm welcome to all of you, especially for those that have traveled to Rwanda for this conference. It's a pleasure and honor to be hosting the 13th African Association for Remote Sensing and Environment here in Kigali. This year's conference focuses on space and geospatial technologies for Africa, but it also comes at a time where the global world, as we face climate change, global warming at the highest rate, it can never be more than timely. It's also evident that climate adaptation and mitigation strategies will entail the use of technology, and space and geospatial technologies are expected to play a big role. For the last 10 years, the African Association of Remote Sensing for Environment has grown and reached new milestones. It is now attracting scholars, young researchers, and professional companies from across the globe in the field of remote sensing. We are already witnessing how information and technology provided by remote sensing have assisted our national weather services and weather forecasting in the region to protect life, property, and contribute to economic development through our GeoHub. Through the use of Earth observation technology, the GeoHub is availing efficient tools that are important for different sectors, and technology is making it possible to develop these tools. And I'll share a couple of examples, starting with smart agriculture, where we have use cases like monitoring of crop health, mapping soil productivity, and yield prediction, and others. We're also seeing this in landslide susceptibility index for the use cases like settlement planning and landscape protection. We also see it in normalized difference turbidity index. This is for water bodies, for the rehabilitation of degraded buffers of water bodies and tracking the source of pollution. And last but not least, we also see it in gas monitoring for identifying the extent of gases and the threshold areas. And we could go on with various examples for all the countries that are represented here. I'm sure this is just a snapshot of what is already happening across your different jurisdictions. Dear participants, with an increase in climate change, satellite remote sensing has become an integral part of operational environmental monitoring. And particularly for Africa, meteorological observations are still low, and satellite data has become critical for this forecasting and climate research. AARSE has been playing an important role in providing information through research-informed output. Our governments, and many governments represented here, value the role of researchers because research outputs, such as those that are presented by AARSE, provides us, the policymakers, with scientific data so that we can make informed decisions for the best interest of our people, but also to facilitate socio-economic development. Our continent is extremely vulnerable to climate change and variability. The changing rainfall patterns are already having an effect on agriculture, food and water security. Furthermore, the climate change predictions for extreme weather events such as severe storms, droughts, and floods are painting a gloomy picture of increasing frequency and severity. We expect the research that will come from the work that you're all doing and the discussions and recommendations that will come, particularly from this conference, provide us with clear mitigation measures for the better Africa of tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, being the think tank of the better tomorrow for our children, allow me to challenge you on this. It's important that we work on research that will encourage space and geospatial entrepreneurship and industrial development. I think we heard from previous speakers, governments cannot do it alone, the private sector can't, and so it's really a collaborative effort. We also need to think very critically about the curriculum that is developed that will allow our students to develop skills in the sector of space and geospatial technology. But also we need to think about geospatial technologies that can be used to mitigate and solve global issues like climate change, but also innovations and how better we can manage our land. We also need to think about technology that can have socio-economic impact on the lives of our people, because this is the Africa that we want. And I think to what the MC or the moderator of the day said earlier, we can easily define the Africa that we want from the collective work that we will do and the collective decisions that we make in this conference. Taking into account both climate change and variability, there's a need to sustain and enhance and support for the development and promoting wide access of the use of climate change related information. We recognize the need to evolve climate products more amenably for use by decision makers in different sectors. In the perspective of climate service delivery, the products themselves should transform both basic products such as rainfall and temperature information to tailored products that satisfy user needs. Rwanda takes note of the sound, overarching emphasis on a user-oriented approach within the global framework for climate services, and that the provision of climate information for adaptation and risk management will continue to be a priority for our government. I cannot overemphasize the importance of local knowledge and experience on space and geospatial related projects. Any scientific basis of developing remote sensing and Earth observation products will need local and regional knowledge, but also contextualizing to our particular nuances as we improve the accuracy and relevance. Therefore, the AARSE Forum is an excellent platform or opportunity to address some of these challenges. We have experts from all over the continent together with our partners gathered here today until the end of this week. I call upon all of you to work together and address how the continent will actively participate, not only as a consumer, but also as a developer, as a producer of these technologies. In summary, distinguished guests, I would like to emphasize 3 points. The first one is around regional collaboration. We need to increase regional collaboration of academic and research institutions in this sector of remote sensing and Earth observation. The second one is capacity building. Capacity building is essential for infrastructure development, but also to develop the much needed expertise in space and geospatial industry. And the third is technology transfer and knowledge sharing, which are vital to deal with the enormous challenge of climate change, and thus collaboration through space and regional technology and local has to be mitigated. In conclusion, I would like to emphasize that the coordination of space activities across the continent is vital for unlocking the promise that space holds for sustainable development and economic growth. Allow me to convey my sincere thanks as I close to the organizers and hosts, specifically INES-Ruhengeri, for the good job done in the preparation of this event, but also for bringing us here together for these timely conversations. But also, I want to ask that in as much as you're going to spend a week here, that beyond the conference you get to explore what Kigali and Rwanda has to offer. It's on this note that I declare the 13th conference of the Africa Association of Remote Sensing and Environment officially open. I thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I think that's not just a speech, but also a rallying call for us all to work together. Thank you. We've come to the end of our first session. We are going to break for our tea break, and then we resume in 30 minutes time. But first, I'd invite you for a photo session.
Top 5 stars. Top 5 stars.